Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Alejandro from Casa Mia, and today I'll be sharing how I painted this beautiful tier ornament using Redesign with Prima products. Before we begin, I'd like you to take a moment to really observe the finished piece. At first glance, you may notice the rich colors and aged finish, but what truly brings this sculpture to life is the way each layer works together to create depth and dimension. Throughout this tutorial, I'll share not only the colors and products I use, but also the thought process behind each step, so you can apply the same principles to your own projects. We'll begin with the resin casting that has already been primed with warm white, giving us the perfect surface to gradually build depth and character. So let's get started. Our first step is to create a subtle layer of texture using rust paste. Rather than applying the paste perfectly smooth, allow the brush to leave small variations across the surface. Those irregularities will become an advantage later, catching color in different ways and creating a naturally aged appearance. To speed up the drying process, you can use a heat tool. Before moving on, make sure the paste is completely dry. A simple way to check is by gently touching the surface with a soft cloth, then with your fingertips. If it feels dry and no residue transfers, you're ready for the next step. Take a close look at the texture. It shouldn't be perfectly even. Those raised and recessed areas will help us build depth as we begin layering color. Now we can begin building color. We'll start with terracotta, using it to establish the warm undertones that will remain visible throughout the entire finish. Apply the color with a natural sea sponge, using light tapping motions instead of brushing. This creates soft irregular variation and avoids a flat, uniform appearance. Next, we'll introduce dark brown to begin developing depth. At this stage, we're not trying to define every shadow. We're simply creating a foundation that will continue to show through the layers that follow. Allow the colors to overlap naturally, rather than covering one color with another. Let them blend visually on the surface. Those transparent layers create richness and character that a single opaque coat could never achieve. Using a heat tool between applications simply allows us to continue working without. Now we'll begin introducing the lighter tones. Warm white softens the darker colors while allowing them to remain visible underneath. Instead of covering the previous layers, it helps unify them and creates a naturally weathered appearance. A touch of ivory brings light to the highest areas of the texture, enhancing the raised details and creating gentle contrast. Once the overall color balance has been established, return with dark brown only where additional depth is needed. These darker accents strengthen the shadows without overpowering the lighter layers. Remember, realistic finishes aren't created with a single color. They're built through many thin transparent layers, allowing each one to contribute to the depth and character of the final piece. Now it's time to begin restoring the light. Using a diluted wash of warm white, we'll gradually brighten the areas that naturally catch the most light. Because the paint remains transparent, each layer lifts the surface without completely covering the burnt scene underneath. Allow the raised details to guide your brush. We're not painting highlights, we're revealing the light that already exists in the sculpture. Work slowly, drying between layers as needed. Building the light gradually gives you a much greater control and creates soft, natural transitions. Remember, every highlight should have a purpose. It's not simply lighter paint. It's what gives the sculpture its form and begins to bring the deer to life. With the background complete, we can now turn our attention to the deer. For this step, I'll be using liquid acrylic burnt sienna. Notice that only a small amount of paint is needed. By diluting it generously with water, we create a transparent wash that allows us to build the color gradually, instead of covering the surface all at once. Before applying the paint, lightly dampen the sculpture. This helps the color flow more naturally, creating soft transitions and giving you greater control over the shadows. At this stage, we're not trying to paint the entire deer. We're simply observing the sculpture and identifying where the natural shadows already exist. Using a fine watercolor brush, begin applying very light washes of burnt sienna. Allow each layer to dry before adding the next, gradually increasing the depth while preserving the brightness of the warm white base. Rather than forcing the shadows, let the sculpted details guide you. The relief already tells you where the darker values belong. Your role is simply to reinforce what is already there. Work patiently, building the shadows one transparent layer at a time. Remember, it's always easier to deepen a shadow with another light wash than to correct an area that has become too dark too quickly. As the layers build, you'll notice the deer slowly beginning to take shape, gaining depth and dimension while maintaining a soft, natural appearance. Now it's time to begin restoring the light. Using a diluted wash of warm white, we'll gradually brighten the areas that naturally catch the most light. Because the paint remains transparent, each layer lifts the surface without completely covering the burnt sienna underneath. Allow the raised details to guide your brush. We're not painting highlights, we're revealing the light that already exists in the sculpture. Work slowly, drying between layers as needed. Building the light gradually gives you a much greater control and creates soft, natural transitions. Remember, every highlight should have a purpose. It's not simply lighter paint, it's what gives the sculpture its form and begins to bring the deer to life. Now that we've reestablished the light, it's time to return to the shadows. Using liquid acrylic burnt sienna with less water than before, we'll begin reinforcing the areas that need greater definition. Pay close attention to the eye sockets and the deeper recessed areas. These natural shadows help define the expression and give the sculpture a stronger sense of dimension. Notice that we're not darkening the entire deer, we're only strengthening the shadows that need a little more contrast after the lighter layers have been added. Painting is a conversation between light and shadow. Rather than completing one before the other, we continue refining both, allowing each layer to guide the next. Build the color gradually, always working with transparency. Every new layer should support the previous one, creating depth without losing the softness that gives the sculpture its natural appearance. Once you're satisfied with the balance, dry the surface before continuing to the next step. With the shadows now established, we can return once again to the light. Using another diluted layer of warm white, we'll continue refining the areas that naturally catch the light, because every previous layer remains visible. These lighter applications soften the transitions without covering the work we've already done. Allow the sculpted details to guide your brush. The forehead, around the eyes, the cheeks, and the muzzle, naturally receive more light, helping define the character and expression of the deer. We're not painting highlights, we're revealing the light that already exists within the sculpture. Take your time and build the light gradually. Every layer is a decision, not a repetition. Before adding more paint, pause for a moment and observe what the sculpture needs. As the balance between light and shadow becomes more refined, the form begins to feel softer, more natural, and more lifelike. Continue working until the transitions feel smooth and the highlights enhance the sculpture without overpowering the subtle shadows you've already created. To create greater visual contrast, we'll now apply liquid acrylic burnt sienna at full strength to the antlers. Unlike the transparent washes we used on the face, this richer application gives the antlers more visual weight, helping distinguish them from the softer tones of the fur. Small changes in value like this help define different materials, making the sculpture feel more natural and dimensional. Now we'll apply the same approach to the foliage beneath the deer. Begin by lightly dampening the surface. This allows the diluted liquid acrylic burnt sienna to flow gently into the details, creating soft, natural transitions instead of harsh lines. Rather than brushing the paint across the surface, use light tapping motions to gradually build the shadows while preserving the texture. Notice that the technique remains the same, only the sculpture changes. Let the relief guide your brush, allowing transparent layers to reveal the natural form of the foliage. Dry the surface before moving on to the next step. Now let's bring some natural color into the foliage. For this step, I'll be working with avocado green, ochre, and umber. Each color has a specific purpose. Avocado green provides the fresh green tones. Ochre adds warmth, and umber creates the earthy depth that keeps the foliage looking natural. As before, each color is diluted with water and applied in transparent layers. Rather than painting one color at a time, allow them to blend naturally on the surface. These subtle variations create the richness we often see in nature. Use light tapping motions and let the sculpted texture guide where the color settles. There is no need to paint each leaf individually. Instead, think of the foliage as a whole, allowing the different tones to flow together organically. As the layers build, the colors will begin to harmonize while still maintaining enough variation to create interest and depth. Continue adding transparent layers until the foliage feels balanced, natural, and fully integrated with the rest of the composition. You'll notice that we intentionally left the pine cones unpainted until now. Using terracotta, we can give them their own identity and create a subtle contrast with the surrounding foliage. Even though these elements are close together, they shouldn't all share the same color. Apply the paint using the same transparent layering technique, allowing the texture of the mold to guide where the color naturally settles. Now, we can begin refining the entire composition. We'll introduce ochre in selected areas to create subtle variation and help separate these details from the surrounding foliage. Next, we'll return to liquid acrylic burnt sienna. Using transparent layers, Begin strengthening the shadows wherever the sculpture naturally calls for more depth. Pay special attention to the area beneath the foliage. A soft shadow here helps lift the greenery away from the ornament, creating a clearer sense of space and dimension. We'll also use diluted burnt sienna to reinforce the curvature of the ornament itself. By blending the color gently with water, the transition remains soft, allowing the shadow to become part of the surface rather than appearing as a painted line. From this point on, begin looking at the piece as a whole. Rather than focusing on the individual elements, observe how they relate to one another. Every new layer should have a purpose, bringing more depth where it's needed, softening transitions where they feel too strong, and creating a natural balance throughout the entire composition. Before moving on, take a moment to make sure the surface is completely dry. This next technique works best when every previous layer has fully cured. Now we'll use warm white with a dry brush. Unlike the transparent washes we've used so far, this application will only catch the highest points of the relief, bringing the sculpted details back into focus. Use a very light touch, allowing the brush to glide gently across the surface. The dry brush doesn't add detail, it reveals the detail that was already there. This final layer helps unify all the work we've done so far, adding clarity to the texture while preserving the depth we've carefully built throughout the painting process. With the overall painting complete, we can now focus on the small details that bring the deer to life. Using liquid acrylic burnt sienna at full strength, carefully reinforce the eyes and any areas that need a little more definition. These deeper accents naturally draw the viewer's attention to the face. Next, add small touches of warm white to restore the brightest highlights. A tiny reflection in the eyes and a few carefully placed accents around the ears and facial features will make the expression feel brighter and more alive. Sometimes, it's the smallest adjustments that make the greatest difference. For the final touch, we'll use eternal wax gold. Rather than applying it everywhere, use it selectively. A light touch on the antlers, a few pine cones, and selected areas of the foliage is enough to catch light without overwhelming the painted finish. You can also apply a very soft dry application across the deer's body. The wax will settle only on the highest points of the texture, creating a gentle shimmer as the piece catches the light from different angles. Remember, metallic accents are most effective when they're subtle. Their purpose isn't to cover the painting, but to enhance the texture and add a refined finishing touch. Now, let's compare the finished piece with the original sample. You'll notice they aren't identical, and that is exactly the goal. Hand-painted finishes should never look like exact copies. By following the same principles while allowing each layer to develop naturally, every piece becomes unique while preserving the same overall character. Thank you for painting with Casa Mia and Redesign with Prima. I hope this tutorial has inspired you to look beyond the colors and discover how light, shadow, and transparent layers can bring every sculpture to life. Until next time, happy creating.